Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers reaction to the Sunday night football game. First off, look, NFC West, all of the teams in this division are very, very good. So every game in the NFC West is massively important. San Francisco last week got physically dominated from the starting whistle to the end of the game by the Miami Dolphins. You know that wasn't going to happen again. I mean, you could see this coming. You knew San Francisco was going to give the Rams their best effort. On top of that, two division opponents. They played each other close both times last year. You knew it was going to be a tough game for the Rams this season as well. The Rams, meanwhile, very interesting team. They're 4-2. Their losses now are to Buffalo and to San Francisco. In my opinion, the two best teams that they've played this season. They've lost both of those games. That Buffalo game could have gone either way. And frankly, this 49ers game, it was probably 2 or 3 plays away from being, a very, close one-score game. Now, the Los Angeles Rams, their 4 wins are against the NFC East, right? That's a little bit of a concern if you're not a fan of the Rams or you're not a fan of the 49ers or anything like that. You look at that and you say, well, the NFC East, they kind of suck. So, of course, the Rams should have finished 4-0. You look at the 49ers, I think they still play maybe Washington again, but I think they play Dallas or something like that. So they have a game or two left against the NFC East. Whereas the Rams, they have to start opening up the back part of their schedule, the really nasty part of their schedule. And frankly, look, everybody, San Francisco and the Rams both have to deal with Seattle a couple of times. That's not going to be fun for either of these teams. So NFC West, all these games are important. Kudos to San Francisco for coming back and winning. Now, I'm a little worried about San Francisco. The defensive backfield, I know they're going to get Sherman back. I know there are going to be some pieces to come back. And San Francisco has been dealing with injuries for 2 years now. Their offense is getting healthier. That's nice. I would love to see Mostert be able to finish. It seems like every time he plays, he only plays a half. He's on my fantasy team. He's breaking my heart all the time. But San Francisco, the defensive backfield, second week in a row, I've noticed them. They're having trouble turning their heads. Now, the coverage is always great. They're there to make the play, but they don't make the play because they're not turning their heads when the ball is available for them. So that's interesting, and that's something I'll be keeping my eye on. The Rams, they had opportunities. They did end up getting, I believe, Josh Reynolds was the one that catch that touchdown pass at towards the end of the fourth quarter there. Robert Woods, the ball hit him right in the hands deep a couple plays before that. I honestly don't think Woods saw that ball. I think he was basically approximating where it was, and it's fine. But these two teams, I think, are going to be playoff threats throughout the year. Really, it's just about how much the NFC West beats up on each other. The Rams are going to have, I think, a more difficult end of the season stretch because, again, they got the NFC East completely out of their way. Now, the 49ers, I believe they're still going to have to deal with the Buffalo Bills. They're still going to have to deal with the New England Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. But the Los Angeles Rams, they're done with the NFC East. I don't think there's any easy teams left on their schedule. It's all tough from here. So we're going to see. But, again, the Rams play good football. Their defense is very impressive, a lot better, and actually getting better as the season goes along. So that's good. They can run the ball. That's good. Jared Goff, I wouldn't say he was on top of his game, but you got to credit San Francisco's defense. They played pretty well. San Francisco, you're not getting Bosa back this year. You're not getting Thomas back this year. So they're going to be thinner on the defensive line, but they're still a well-coached team. And look, when Sherman comes back, the entire defense is going to get better. And I think they'll continue to rebound. Mostert, again, I wish he would play a little bit longer. But, it looked like, I would say the good news, the takeaway here is it looked like he wanted to get back on the field and they were taking him out. And JaMychal Hasty looked really good to me. I got to be honest with you, if you're in a dynasty league out there, you should probably look at picking up Hasty right now because McKinnon, he looked better than me, even in his limited production today, than McKinnon has looked all season when I've seen games. That's one thing. I think Mostert is still a cut above everybody else just based on that speed. And when he was in there, look, when he was in the game, San Francisco scored 21 points. When he was out of the game, they didn't really score that much, right? So Mostert really makes that offense go. But the rookie there, man, always beware the Shanahan rookies or these unheralded Shanahan players. Mostert was one of these players back in the day as well. So these guys can pop. He's a running back that has skill. I think you need to take a look at him. Let me get to the stats here. Jared Goff, 19-38. That's 50%. Not so good. 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of them was at the end of the game. Darrell Henderson, 14 carries, 88 yards, 6.3 yards per carry. You wonder why he didn't get more carries. But again, San Francisco, I know it ended up being an 8-point victory for them, but that game was, or I should say the score differential was a lot bigger throughout the game. So you can understand why McVay might have went away from the run a little bit earlier. Malcolm Brown only gets 2 carries. If you have Darrell Henderson on your fantasy team, that's very good news. You don't see really anybody else taking a dent out of Darrell Henderson's carry or his workload, and that's a good deal. Tyler Higbee, 3 catches, 56 yards. His struggles kind of continue from a fantasy perspective. I was never that high on him to begin with, honestly, just because I like Gerald Everett's ability at tight end as well. He also has 3 catches, only for 27 yards, though. Josh Reynolds adds that touchdown, as I mentioned, 2 catches, 45 yards, the bulk of them on that 1 touchdown grab. Robert Woods, only 4 grabs, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp, barely even visible, 3 catches for 11 yards, hardly did anything. So credit San Francisco, they did a very good job. San Francisco, statistically, on the other hand, Garoppolo, 23 of 33, 3 touchdowns on an ankle that isn't completely healed yet, so that's good. You had Mostert going for 17 carries for 65 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, not great. But look, if he was in there and getting a full workload in the second half, his yards per carry would have been 4.5 or more. Every time he touched the ball, it looked like he was making a difference. Again, he was just banged up. JaMychal Hasty, as I mentioned, 9 carries, 37 yards. That's not a fluky number. The 4.1 yards per carry. He's shifty. He looked like he had good vision. It's the first time I really recall seeing him in action. I don't know if he's broken into the lineup or into the game before, but he looked better than McKinnon did to me. And it would not shock me if he supplants McKinnon. I don't think that will happen. But in 2021, he's going to probably be one of the top 2 backs unless San Francisco makes an upgrade elsewhere. Mostert, I don't think, is going anywhere. I would think Hasty could overtake McKinnon. I know that sounds like sacrilege to a lot of people, but I'm telling you, Shanahan running backs, I've been watching him since Terrell Davis, in training camp when he made that tackle and he broke through in the lineup. Olandis Gary, Portis, like all these guys, some of which were completely out of nowhere, like Terrell Davis. There's just a style and there's just a fit. Hasty, he's a little short, but he runs with power and he has good vision. Again, if you're in a dynasty league, snap this guy up, especially if you have the space for him. Jimmy Garoppolo at, okay, right? I told you about his 3 touchdowns. Didn't really add much on the ground, but you wouldn't think he would. He did almost run it. I don't know if that was Rams or whatever, almost ran over a defensive back, which is funny at the end of the game. George Kittle, 7 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. Deebo gets 66 yards on 6 grabs and a touchdown. Bourne, 2 grabs for 44 yards. Aiyuk gets in the end zone with 2 catches for 12 yards. San Francisco, again, healthier on offense. That's a good thing. Deebo back. The healthier the ankle gets for Garoppolo, things will get better. And now we have to keep an eye out for that Mostert ankle injury. If I had to guess, again, it looked like he wanted to get back out on the field. If I had to guess, I think he'll be out there next week. Keep an eye on Hasty, though. He's somebody that you should be, once again, grabbing. It's important. Grab him if you're in a dynasty league, especially a deeper dynasty league. Pick him up. Because if he ends up being the starting running back in San Francisco in 1 or 2 years, that is well worth the investment today. So there you go. There's my instant reaction to the 49ers versus Rams. We did a few of them earlier today. I think I'm done for the week, although who knows if I feel like it. I might do some Monday night reactions as well. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. 49ers fans, let me know how you think you can get better. Rams fans, let me know what you think you should have done better. And then we will catch you again on another video soon. Thanks, everyone.